sixth chapter, part second. First I will read and I will give you explanation. You must have realized from the above activity that there are different in temperature of different places on the earth. Similarly, there is difference in maximum and minimum temperature. This is difference is less the coastal regions nearest to coast, while it is more in the region far away from the sea continentality. That means you realized from the above activity. म्हणजे above activity पासून तुम्ही काय शिकलेला आहात, that there are difference in temperature at different places. That means different places temperature are different. म्हणजे different places temperature different असतं on the earth. Similarly there in difference in the maximum and minimum temperature. Maximum आणि minimum temperature मध्ये difference असतो. The difference is less in the coastal areas. So coastal area ला less असतो, not it's more in the region away from the sea. जसं आपण sea पासून away जाईल, लांब जाईल, तसं ते काय असतं, जास्त असतं. This means that is a region close to ocean, sea or large reservoirs. There is not much of difference in the temperature throughout the day. The main reason for is the maximum of vapor released through evaporation of water from these water bodies into air. This vapor in the air aboard and stores the heat released from the land. Hence, the temperature in coastal areas remains equable. That means this means that region close to the ocean, जो region close असतो ocean ला or sea ला, this is or large reservoirs, this is not much of the difference in the temperature throughout the day. That means this place the temperature difference in the temperature throughout the day. Much of the difference, not much of the difference in the temperature throughout the day. Then the main reason for this is mixing of vapor released through evaporation of water from these water bodies into air. That means the main reason for of this mixing vapor म्हणजे mixing vapors होण्याचं जे reason आहे, released through evaporation of water from these water bodies into air. This vapor in the air aboard and stored in heat released from the land. And the vapors काय होते, air aboard and stored in released from the land. Hence the temperature in coastal area remains unequal. आणि त्याच कारणामुळे coastalचं टेम्परेचर कसं असतं, इक्वेलेबल्स असतं. You have studied that equatorial region receives near perpendicular sun ray. As a result, this area get more heat, whereas the polar regions receive highly slant rays. This difference heating create imbalance in the temperature of air in the different part. The leads the formation belt. High and low pressure on the earth. Winds blow due to the pressure difference in this belt. These winds called as planetary winds. These winds move the ocean's water in the form of the current. The current are warm current or cold current. That means you have studied that equatorial region receive near the perpendicular rays. That means in the equatorial regions the rays are the perpendicular sun rays. As the result, this area get more heat, whatever the polar region receive highly slant ray. आणि त्या एरियामध्ये इक्वेटोरियल रिजनमध्ये जी काही हीट कशी असते, मोर असते कंपेअर टू द पोलर रिजनला. सनरेज कसे पडतात, स्लँटिंग पडतात, आणि त्यामुळे तिथं काय असते, जी काही हीट असते ती कशी असते, लेस असते. दिस differential heating create imbalanced temperature of air in the different part. That means difference heating create imbalanced temperature of air in a different part. This lead to formation belt high and low pressure on the earth, and because of this the different part, that means the imbalance in the temperature of the different part, and this lead to formation belt. This leads to formation belt, high pressure and low pressure belt. Winds blow due to the pressure difference in this belt. These winds are called as the planetary winds. That means imbalance of the imbalance in the temperature of the different part, and because of this lead of formation high belt is created. That means high pressure and low pressure belt is created. and this winds is called as the planetary winds, and these winds move ocean water in the form of the current, and this winds is move oceanic water in the form of the current. This current are warm current or cold current. That means two type of current. First is the warm current and the cold current. Then warm current move toward the cold region and cold current move toward the warm region. That means the warm current move toward the cold region. ते cold region कडे move होतात and cold current move कुठे होतात warm region कडे. This means ocean current move from the equatorial region to polar region and polar region to the equatorial region. That means the oceanic currents move from the polar region to equatorial region and equatorial region to polar region. This leads to redistribution of heats on the earth, and because of this the create the redistribution of heat on the earth. The cold current moving toward the equatorial region make the temperature of coastal area in that zone milder, whereas the warm current coming in the colder region cause temperature is the coastal area is rise. That means the cold current moving toward the equatorial region and regions make temperature is a coastal area that is zone milder, and when warm current coming in the colder region, that means the warm current कुठे येतात colder region मध्ये येतात, and cause of temperature in coastal area is rise. आणि त्याच्यामुळे काय होतं टेम्परेचर ऑफ कोस्टल रिजनचं काय होतं राईज होतं. We have seen this figure 5.6. Then the oceans act as the controller of global temperature. In this two way described above, the ocean have vast expanse, therefore huge amount of vapor get created. This process goes continuously. From this vapor of the earth get rainfalls. Oceans are the source of rains. The rainwater flow through the river and stream and finally flow back into oceans. This makes clear that beginning and end of the water cycle takes place in the oceans. That means the ocean act as the controller of the global temperature. That means ocean act as a role of the controller of global temperature. Two-way describe above. That means here given the two-way above in para, last para. This process get continuously. That means the oceans have vast expanse and their huge amount of vapor is get created, and this process is takes place in continuously. From vapor the earth get rainfalls, आणि vapors मुळे काय होतं rainfalls होते, and oceans are source of rains. Ocean is the main part of the or main source of the rains. The rainwater flows through river and stream and finally flow back into oceans. This makes clear that beginning and end of the water cycle takes place in the oceans. म्हणजे जे बिगिनिंग आणि एंड होतं जो वॉटर सायकलचा तो कुठून होतो ओशन पासून होतो. Here do you know, as the region close to the sea have equable climate, the density of population is high in this area. The coastal region have always attracted man due to the climate, abundance and of food and various products obtained from the sea. Here do you know, in future we will possible generate electricity with the help of oceanic wave and tide. And electricity कशी होईल possible in the waves and tide. It is possible to convert the saline ocean water into the potable drinking water. Potable drinking water will be reduced the scarcities and drinking water to some extent. The drinking water in city Dubai, United Arab Emirates is being made by available through this method. Mangroves forest, here given the next in the swampy areas, म्हणजे दलदल आपण म्हणतो की नाही ते area of the coast, and in the area of the estuaries the soils are saline and the climate humid. In such areas mangrove forest with tiwaris and the sundri grow well. The wood of mangrove tree is light and oily. It lasts longer. It is used as a fuel and as also for the ship buildings. And mangrove forest protect the coastal area from huge wave. This forest also protect the biodiversity in the coastal areas. In these forests are located near coastal town. They are called as lungs of the town, and this is also known as the mangroves, also known as the lungs of the town. Next point is ocean and resource. We have seen earlier that we obtained a salt, fish, shell, and other product from the oceans. Besides this, we get minerals like iron, lead, cobalt, sodium, magnesium, chromium, zinc, etc. from the ocean floor. We also get minerals, oil, and the natural gas. That means ocean resources. We have earlier that is obtained. We have seen that from the oceans we get salt, fish, shell, and other product from the oceans. Beside these, we minerals like आणि मिनरल्स सुद्धा आपल्याला मिळतात लाईक आयर्न, लीड, कोबाल्ट, सोडियम, मॅग्नेशियम, क्रोमियम, झिंक एक्सेट्रा. वी ऑल्सो गेट मिनरल्स, ऑइल अँड नॅचरल गॅस. आपल्याला त्याच्यापासून नॅचरल गॅस किंवा मिनरल्स ऑइल सुद्धा मिळतं. आता हिअर गिवन दी फर्स्ट डायग्राम इज lead, second is cobalt, third manganese, and fourth iron. We get precious items like pearl, corals, and the ornamental items like shell. Also medicinal plants from the sea. म्हणजे आपण काय करू शकतो, या प्रेसियस आयटम्स लाईक पर्ल, देन कोरल्स अँड द ऑर्नामेंटल आयटम्स सुद्धा आपल्याला काय मिळतात त्याच्यापासून मिळतात, ओशन्स पासून. लक्षात आलं. देन बघा oceanic transport. Ocean have provided as the most economical options of transformation. Large scale transport of goods is carried out of with help of ship, travelers, boats. International trade is carried out the large scale using waterway. Countries like Spain, Norway, Japan have a good coastline. Due to good transport by ocean routes, these countries have gained a importance. That means ocean have provided as a most economical option of transportation. म्हणजे ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन मध्ये आपल्याला ओशन हा काय करतो, इकॉनॉमिकल ऑप्शन म्हणून आपण तो यूज करतो. म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल वेगवेगळे शिप असतात बघा, त्या वन कंट्री टू अनदर कंट्री जाणाऱ्या वगैरे, ते काही गुडचे असतात. त्यामधून आपल्याला काय मिळतं, ते एक इकॉनॉमिकल ऑप्शन आपल्याला भेटतो ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन. लार्ज स्केल ट्रान्सपोर्ट ऑफ गुड कॅरीड आउट विथ द हेल्प ऑफ शिप. दॅट मीन्स हिअर कॅन एक्झाम्पल द गुड्स इज कॅरीड आउट द हेल्प ऑफ शिप, ट्रॅव्हल्स, बोट्स. इंटरनॅशनल ट्रेड इज कॅरीड आउट लार्ज स्केल युझिंग वॉटरवे. म्हणजे इंटरनॅशनल लेवलला हा काय केला जातो, ट्रेड्स काय केला जातो, लार्ज स्केलमध्ये या वॉटरवेचा यूज केला जातो. Countries like Spain, Norway, Japan, which country are used international trade is morely. Countries like Spain, Norway, Japan have a good coastline. Due to good transport by oceans routes, these countries have gained importance. आणि त्या कंट्रीमध्ये कशाला ट्रान्सपोर्टला काय दिलेलं आहे, इम्पॉर्टन्स दिलेलं आहे. ओशन्स करंट आर क्वाईट इम्पॉर्टंट इन वॉटर ट्रान्सपोर्ट. आणि ओशन करंट काय असतात, ओशन करंट्स आर क्वाईट इम्पॉर्टंट इन water transport. As far as possible water transport is carried out along the ocean current, they accelerate the speed of ship and also save the fuel to a considerable extent. म्हणजे ओशन करंट क्वाईट इम्पॉर्टंट असतं कशासाठी, वॉटर ट्रान्सपोर्टसाठी. ॲज फार ॲज पॉसिबल वॉटर ट्रान्सपोर्ट इज कॅरीड आउट अलॉंग द ओशन करंट. आणि ते कशामुळे शक्य होतं, ओशन करंटमुळे. दे ॲसेलरेट द स्पीड ऑफ शिप अँड ऑल्सो सेव्ह फ्यूल टू अ कन्सिडरेबल एक्सटेंट. म्हणजे दे स्पीड ऑफ शिप, दे ॲसेलरेटेड स्पीड ऑफ शिप अँड ऑल्सो सेव्ह फ्यूल टू द कन्सिडरेबल extent. Water transport is conducted on much higher scale in compared to the other mode of transport. म्हणजे water transport, hence the transport of the bulky material like coal, crude oil, raw material, metallic minerals, food, grains, etc. Water transport in given performance. म्हणजे water transport is most important for the importance than the other transport. Hence from the transport of bulky material like coal, crude oils, raw materials, metallic minerals, food grains, etc. Issues related to issues related to oceans. About the 70.8% of the surface of the earth is occupied by the water. In the other fulfill his requirement, man undertakes many activity. This leads to production of huge amount of different type of waste. This waste material cause pollutions. Pollution of oceanic water is a major serious issue that is developed in a recent टाइम. दॅट मीन्स अबाउट म्हणजे आपलं जे काही 70.8% सरफेस तो कशानं ॲक्युपाय केलेला आहे, वॉटरनं ॲक्युपाय केलेला आहे. आणि इन द अदर फुलफिलमेंट रिक्वायरमेंट मॅन अंडरटेक मेनी ॲक्टिव्हिटी. आणि त्यामुळं मॅन काय करत असतो, डिफरंट ॲक्टिव्हिटी करत असतो. त्यामुळं काय होतं, वॉटर पोल्युशन होत असतं. आणि ते वॉटर पोल्युशन होण्याचे वेगवेगळे टाईप्स आहेत, वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीनं ते पोल्युशन होतं. ऑइल स्पिल, ज्यावेळेला एखादी शिप व्हेन एनी शिप गोज टू द वे ऑफ द वॉटर ॲट दॅट टाइम द ऑइल स्पिल, म्हणजे ऑइल स्पिल झाल्यानंतर सुद्धा काय होतं, वॉटर पोल्युशन. रिलीज द वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट इन द कोस्टल सिटीज इन टू सीज. आता एखाद्या इंडस्ट्रीचं जे काही आपण म्हणतो की नाही पाणी वॉटर असतं, ते सुद्धा मिक्स झालं, अनवॉन्टेड जे मटेरियल असेल किंवा अनवॉन्टेड वॉटर असेल तर ते सुद्धा, त्यामुळे सुद्धा काय होतं, तर ते वॉटर पोल्युशन होतं. देन मिनरल्स थ्रो आउट फ्रॉम द शिप, जे काही शिपमधून जे काही मिनरल्स थ्रो केले जातात त्यामुळे सुद्धा काय होतं, वॉटर पोल्युशन होतो. एक्सप्लोटेटिव्ह फिशिंग्स, आणि एक्सप्लोटेटिव्ह फिशिंग्समुळे सुद्धा काय होतं, तर वॉटर पोल्युशन होतं. कटिंग द मँग्रोव्ज फॉरेस्ट इन द कोस्टल एरिया, जे काही मँग्रोव्ज फॉरेस्ट कटिंग केले जातात त्यामुळे सुद्धा वॉटर पोल्युशन होतं. सेवेज रिलीज्ड बाय इंडस्ट्रीज अँड सिटीज, दॅट मीन्स सेवेज म्हणजे आपण तो कचरा म्हणतो की नाही, सेवेज दॅट मीन्स द वेस्ट मटेरियल फ्रॉम द फॅक्टरीज or the industries and the other cities. Excavations carried out of this seas, these are the way of the water pollution. All these things listened above lead a large scale pollution of oceanic water, and this is a these factors or these things are responsible for the water pollution on the oceanic water. Some coastal regions are proving the dead trap aquatic animals. As a result, many aquatic animals are under the threat of being extinct. For example, blue whales, some type of sea turtle and dolphins. Remember, a large proportion of surface of the earth occupied by water. Most of the water is salty. The living world in the salty water is suffering from the pollution caused by man. We must avoid it. म्हणजे आपल्या बराचसाच भाग काय केलेला आहे, कवर्ड कशाने केलेला आहे, वॉटरनं केलेला आहे. पण तो कसं वॉटर आहे, वॉटरनं अर्थ ऑक्युपाइड बाय द वॉटर. मोस्ट ऑफ द वॉटर इज साल्टी, आणि बऱ्यापैकी जे वॉटर आहे ते कसं आहे, साल्टी आहे. दिस लिव्हिंग वर्ल्ड इज साल्टी इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम द पोल्युशन कॉज्ड बाय मॅन. वी मस्ट अवॉइड दिस. Here given the activity, Samira and Sani are playing the game of the showing of the waterway on map of the world. Their route are going to opposite direction. One is following the eastern routes while the other is taking the route of takes to the west. From Mumbai port, some goods are to be taken to London in UK. On the map of the world, show at least two such route with the pencil. Write down the name of the port, different nations that fell on the route of following of each. Fourth on the route following by Samir, and fourth on the routes followed by the Sania.